Hi, so we have Module 1, Lesson 14. On your assignment for today, we are going to be following the instructions on problem number 1, which says draw place value disks on the place value chart to solve and show each step using the standard algorithm. So A says 4 and 236 thousandths divided by 3. So you're dividing this into 3 groups. So you're using the place value chart and then you're showing each step on the standard algorithm of division. So on your place value chart, first you're going to draw in dots with how much you're starting with, okay? So I already did that for you with the place value disks. Remember, you can click and drag them around. So first we have 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 tenths, 1, 2, 3 hundredths, 1, 2, 3, and 6 thousandths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so on the place value chart, the reason I did red and blue disks, so for red disks are even numbers. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know why that one's blue. For red disks are even numbers and for blue disks are odd numbers. Oh, I don't know. Well, the blue disks that I drew on your assignment are the disks that you will be regrouping, okay? So now on the place value chart, you also see that so this is what you're starting with on the top row. Then you have 3 dotted lines below that because there are 3 groups that we need to divide it in. So each row is 1 group. So I'm going to draw stars just to kind of show that I'm dividing it into the 3 groups. So each star is 1 group. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start all the way in the ones place. Okay, so you're starting all the way on the left. Just like when we do standard algorithm, you start right here on the inside. So now we have 4 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, to divide into 1, 2, 3 groups. So on your assignment, I just want you to click on them and then drag them into each group. For me, I'm going to draw them in and then erase them from the top. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I shared out 3 ones with a leftover of 1 1. So now I'm going to show that over here, okay? So we had 4 ones, we shared out 3 ones. So that gave us leftover 1 1. So now each group also received 1 1. So that would be 1 1 up here. Don't forget your decimal right there. So now we need to still divide that 1 1, but we're going to regroup it. We need to exchange it for the next place value. So we're going to make it into more parts so that we have an equal amount to share out. So now this 1 blue, I'm technically exchanging it, so I'm kind of sending it over to the tenths. So 1 1 is equal to 10 tenths. So I'm going to add 10 more here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now I'm getting rid of that one. So if you still have that blue one in there, you need to take it out. And you need to have grabbed some extra from your assignment on this side and dragged in 10 more in the tenths place, okay? So now if we had 2 tenths and then we added 10 tenths more, we now have a total of 12 tenths. So now we have 12 tenths to show over here. Okay, so we now have 12 tenths. So now we're sharing 12 tenths divided into 3 groups. Okay, so you're going to click on each tenth and then drag it into the groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I have now shared them all out. So now, out of the 12 tenths that we had, we were able to share all of them, which was 12 tenths. So 12 tenths minus 12 tenths. So if we shared out all of them, that means we now have 0 tenths. Okay? So now let's look at how many are in each group. So each group has 4. So 4 tenths is what we equally shared it into. Okay, so now the hundredths place. So now we have 1, 2, 3 hundredths to share between 3 groups, to divide into 3 groups. So now we need to bring down the 3 to show we have 3 hundredths to divide into 3 groups. So now share those out. 1, 2, 3. So now we have 3 hundredths shared out with 0 hundredths left over. So now let's show that right here. So we started with 3 hundredths. We shared out 3 hundredths. So we now have left over 0 hundredths. So now each group was able to get 1 hundredth. So 1 right there. Okay, now the thousandths place. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 thousandths to divide into 3 groups. 6 thousandths, we're going to drop down here to show 6 thousandths divided into 3 groups, okay? So now share 1 to each group until they have an equal amount. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 thousandths. So now we had 6 thousandths. We shared out 6 thousandths. So here we're showing minus 6 thousandths. So now 6 thousandths minus 6 thousandths equals 0 thousandths. So we have 0 thousandths left over. So now each group was able to get 2 thousandths. So 2 right there. So now we have divided successfully using the place value chart and the place value discs and the standard algorithm. So now your answer is how many are in each group, your quotient right here. 1, 1, 4 tenths, 1 hundredth, 2 thousandths. So now you need to plug in that answer here and here. So 1.412. Okay, now problem B. So now we have 1 and 324 thousandths divided by 2. So we're dividing it into 2 equal groups. So now on the place value chart, here are my 2 stars to show the 2 groups. So this is one group, here's the second group. Here's our standard algorithm that we're going to fill in as we're doing the steps over here. So now I'm going to start by showing the value in discs on the place value chart. So 1, 1, 3 tenths, 2 hundredths, 4 thousandths. Okay, so now first start on the inside, so the left side, so 1, 1. So we have 1, 1 to share into 2 groups. We don't have enough ones to share equally into 2 groups. So this 1, 1, we're going to exchange it or regroup it into tenths. So 1, 1 is equal to 10 tenths. So I'm going to take this one out and I'm going to move it on to the next place value. So 10 more. So grab 10 more place value discs on the side of your assignment and drag them in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if we started with 3 tenths and then we added 10 tenths more, we now have 13 tenths. Okay, so that's what we're going to show over here. So instead of 1, 1, we're going to start 13. So we're going to put a 0 decimal up here, okay, because we weren't able to share out 1, 1 into 2 groups. So that was 0. So now 13 tenths shared out into 2 groups, okay, so 1 in each group until they are shared out equally. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Stop right there. I stopped at 12 because I don't have one left over, but I don't have enough to share into two groups equally. So now, if we had 13 tenths and we only shared out 12 tenths, we need to show that here. So minus 1 to 12. So 13 tenths minus 12 tenths gives us left over 1 tenth, okay? So here's the 1 tenth that's left over. So now this 1 tenth, we need to regroup it or exchange it for more pieces. Still the same value, but more pieces. So now this 1 tenth is equal to 10 hundredths. So we're going to take this one out and add 10 more here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now if we had 2 hundredths already and we added 10 hundredths more, we now have 12 hundredths. So now we need to bring down the 2 hundredths here to show 12 hundredths, okay? So now we're sharing out 12 hundredths equally into two groups. So one at a time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that time we were able to share all of them out. So now if we had 12 hundredths and we shared out all 12 hundredths, so then we have 12 minus 12, which gives us 0. 0 left over. So now, I forgot to plug this in over here, sorry. So now, how many tenths were we able to share out per group? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 tenths here. How many hundredths did we share out per group? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 here. And then the thousandths. So now we have 4 thousandths. So let's bring this down to show 4 thousandths divided into two groups. So 1 to each group until they are shared equally. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if we had 4 thousandths and we shared out 4 thousandths, so that would be 4 minus 4, which gives us 0. We have 0 thousandths left over. Okay, so how many thousandths did we share in each group? 1, 2. 2. So now we have 662 thousandths. So now here's our quotient that we need to plug in here. So 0.662 thousandths. Okay, that is it for today. Thank you for working so hard. Make sure you do your Zern and awesome job.